Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Jack and today I'll be teaching you something business related. I'll be giving you tips on performing an effective customer service survey or an interest survey. This will enable you as a business to find out what your customers are looking for and find out how your products can better suit the needs of your customers. Now obviously there's no point selling a product that there's no market for, so it's very important to make sure that you perform a proper survey and a proper interest report to find out that there's actually demand for what you're trying to sell. If you're trying to sell purple t-shirts and people only want to buy blue t-shirts, no one's going to buy purple t-shirts, are they? So before you waste your money in setting up an operation, getting stock, hiring staff, stuff like that, you want to make sure that people actually want what you have to do. And for this, you have to perform surveys. So one of the most cost-effective ways to do this is to just go and ask people on the street. Walk up to them and say, "Hi, would you be interested in buying products? And if so, how much would you be willing to pay for it?" Now, this is quite time-consuming. It could take a while to carry out this survey in numbers that mean you're able to see patterns in data. So that's the downside of it. But the upside is it's incredibly cheap. You can do it by yourself. All it requires is your time and a good plan. Another way of doing this is performing out internet surveys. Now this requires setting up an online form using a site like Google Forms, Monkey Polls, something like that. And you can create an online survey and just send it to people. The downside of this is that people can get quite annoyed by online surveys. Most people think they're just scams, so be careful. And also it can cost a lot of money to promote it online. It can be hard to make sure it gets to the right audience, and if you want to target it to certain people, that can also be quite difficult to do, because you have to find out who your targeting for that product will be anyway. Because for example, there's no point asking if a teenager would buy dentures, or if a teenager would buy dentures, that's a pretty good example actually. So there are two ways that you can outreach to your customers, potential customers. You can also trade shows, go to a trade show, go up, book a booth or something and just gauge interest. Another way is a Kickstarter page. If it's a product, a Kickstarter page, Indiegogo, something like that with crowdfunding, because then you can actually gauge interest based on people that are willing to contribute to the project, and this gives you a more stable backing and footing to be able to develop the product with the security of knowing that people are actually going to buy it. So that's quite important as well. The downside of a Kickstarter is that you still got to get to people. You still have to advertise online or in person or in print, but who reads print anymore? And you're still gonna have to promote it. And people don't like being advertised to when they know they're being advertised to. People always find adverts annoying. So you'd have to be very smart about it, or you'd have to have a very good product that makes people want to support it. And then if you do a Kickstarter or something, you have to deliver as well. So you have to make sure that you're confident of being able to deliver the product once it gets the backing and the recognition and the support that you need to take it forward. They're all the advice I could really think of for making sure there's the interest in a product before launching it. Obviously, this is very important to make sure that people actually want to buy it. So although these steps are quite time consuming, it takes a lot of time to gather a good amount of data on a certain question, a certain product, a certain survey to make sure people actually want it. It's worth doing in the long run, because if you launch a product that nobody actually wants, someone's going to buy it, you're going to lose a ton of money because nobody buys it. You're going to waste the money on the production, on the staff, on renting places, stuff like that. So it's always a good idea to make sure you carry out research into the market before you launch. And it's important to make sure you gather what people are willing to pay as well, because most people will be honest. You'll get the occasional people obviously that say like £2.50 or something like that, but most people will be honest about it, and you'll be able to gauge a good idea to go alongside your initial beliefs and your cost calculations of what you should sell the product for, to make sure it's low enough that people still want to buy it, but that the cost you're selling it for is high enough to cover costs. That's some tips on performing customer interest surveys, and I will see you next time. Have a good evening.